Welcome to Dr. Sowat's Guide to Case Studies, Part 4. Where are we? In this video, which is the last of a four-part series, we'll focus on the required components and how the case study will be graded. Let's take a look at the required components. One element that you'll want to include is an executive summary. An executive is a 1 to 2 page review of the entire case. It provides an overview of the entire case study. The reason why you prepare this is because it's likely that busy executives will only read this. That's very common. So you'll want this brief summary that really touches on every aspect of your case study. The introduction. We suggest that you include the following: an overview of the situation, a state problem, and the procedures that you followed. For example, if you interviewed people, if you conducted a survey, focus groups, that type of thing. The findings. Your results, the results of any interviews or focus groups, for example, and your in-depth analysis, as well as any other insights that you're making in doing this case study. The recommendations. This is where you'll go in depth in your strategy, your tactics. One thing that you'll probably realize as we're going through this is that these sections will be of different lengths. For example, the strategy and your analysis will be much more involved than a statement of the problem, for example, which might only be several sentences long. As we continue, additionally, rejected recommendations. What are some things that you consider that were on your radar screen, but you just decided not to? And summary, continuous improvement ideas. If you were to do this again, what would you incorporate? And summary and conclusions. Additionally, references. You want to make sure that you're citing your references using the appropriate style. And now we get to your 100 facts. That would be Appendix A from your exploration phase. Your group agendas, for example, might be Appendix B. And now some other elements, for example, figures or charts, summary worksheets, other source material, for example, survey questions, your interview guide, those could be in an appendix as well. So let's take a look at how the case study will be graded. Professionalism of style. Ask yourself, is this professionally written? Is it worthy of college level material? Proper grammar, proper citations, proper analysis. Also, did you apply communication principles? Did you apply the principles discussed in the book in class? And did you show the link between models and theories that you've studied to issues in your case study? Analytical soundness. 2 points that we will go through in following slides. Did you apply Dr. Sowat's 7 questions? And we'll take a look by congruency tests. So let's take a look at Dr. Sowat's guide to critical thinking, the 7 questions. The goal with this is to show that you thought critically about your case study and you asked or you pondered questions regarding the points presented. Ask yourself, did I make reasonable assumptions? Did I rely on reasonable evidence to reach conclusions? Those are 2 questions, for example. You want to show that you're applying those points to your case study. We also talked about congruency tests. If you recall, this is the approach that we follow, the get big to get small. And what you want to show through your case study is that all the levels from exploration to analysis, analysis to strategy, strategy to tactics, that they clearly link on another. In other words, that your analysis seamlessly flows out of your exploration. And likewise, that the strategy is clearly linked to your analysis. Let's go into this in a bit more detail by what we mean by how one drives the other. Just another diagram for you in terms of what we mean by the congruency test. What we want to do is we want to get all these stages or phases clearly linked together. We want them all to be congruent. If there's a disconnect or an incongruency anywhere, you're going to lead to there'll be a toxic set of recommendations, and your case is going to blow up in effect. Let me go through an example for you just to make this come alive a bit. Let's say that you determine some facts. Um, I gained 20 pounds in the last year is one fact, and I really am listless. I have a lack of energy. An analysis might be I'm overweight. I really need to lose weight. A strategy that I might come up with is I'm going to stop eating breakfast. And the tactics that flow out of the strategy is, well, because I'm going to stop eating breakfast, I'm going to get rid of any cereal and milk that I have in my refrige. Okay, well, let's take a look at this in a bit more detail. The facts flow, the analysis facts that I gained the 20 pounds, that I am overweight, and I do need to lose some weight. Okay, no disconnect there. My strategy, however, there's a disconnect between the analysis and the strategy, because by by not no longer eating breakfast, what research shows is that truly eating breakfast is one of the best ways to lose weight, because the energy that you get from your morning meal really sustains you best during the day. And what research has shown is that by eating breakfast, you actually consume fewer calories during the day. So there's a disconnect there. And any tactic that flows out of that, it still is unlikely to solve the problem, the tactic of removing milk and cereal, because there's a disconnect. There's an incongruency and there's a breakdown. The strategy is unlikely to solve the problem of being overweight. A more abbreviated example, let's say the healthcare message in your organization, and your strategy is you want to broadcast a message about the healthcare changes to a broad range of audiences in your company. You have got young people, middle-aged, and seniors. Your tactics, what you decide is you're going to announce it only on YouTube. Well, clearly there's a disconnect between your strategy and tactics, because YouTube will, chances are, only address one of those or a limited number of audiences. We thank you for listening to Dr. Sowat's Guide to Case Studies. We think this will be an enriching experience for you, and we wish you the best of luck as you work through these real-world problems.